Welcome back to Capitol Tonight. While the state's unemployment rate has held steady at around 4%, the unemployment rate for disabled New Yorkers is much higher. Joining me now to discuss why that is and efforts to lower that rate is Maureen O'Brien, President and CEO of New York State Industries for the Disabled. Maureen, welcome back to Capitol Tonight.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So what is the current unemployment rate for disabled New Yorkers, and why is it so much higher than the average unemployment rate?
Sure. So the unemployment rate for disabled New Yorkers is 67%. It's held steady at that number for quite some time. And we work, NYSED does, with 138 member agencies around the state that do vocational and rehabilitative training for individuals with disabilities to help them get the not only services that they need, but also the experience that they need to get into the workforce. The more that we can empower those agencies to do the work that they do so well, I think the better off we'll be and how we'll get the unemployment rate down.
Can you explain some of the hurdles that disabled New Yorkers do face when they are looking for employment?
Sure. What I always say about an individual with a disability is they're great problem solvers. If you can imagine someone who uses assistive technology or a wheelchair or a communication device, those folks cross a whole bunch of barriers before they ever get to work. So when they're at work, they are happy to be there, and they are working alongside individuals who are both disabled and non-disabled to get their job done. We need to be more proactive in allowing the agencies that NYSED works with to do the work faster and to do it more meaningfully with the people that we work with. There's a host of, NYSED runs what's called the Preferred Source Program for individuals with disabilities, and we are allowed to contract for various goods and services that our agencies perform, where 50% of all of the individuals working on those contracts are individuals with disabilities. We can streamline that process, we can make it less bureaucratic, and we can work faster by working with the agencies that oversee NYSED and oversee the contract process.
And as you know, NYSED has been around for half a century. So what does NYSED do to help connect disabled New Yorkers to those employment opportunities?
Sure. So right now in New York State, last year we served just over 6,500 people. We're on track to do about that same number this year. In order to lower the unemployment rate and meet the objectives of the governor's Employment First initiatives, we need to double the number that we have. We want to be able to employ closer to 12,000 people on the contracts that we have in place. My hope is that we have meaningful discussion with the agencies that we work with on streamlining the process and making it less bureaucratic.
And this legislative session that just wrapped up saw a big win with the Preferred Source Law being expanded to include formerly incarcerated individuals. Why was it so important to get that expansion through?
Yeah, the national, both the New York State ARC and the national ARC have criminal justice programs that focus on individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities. They are far more prevalent in the justice system than any other population. 50% of all individuals in prison or that were formerly incarcerated also have a disability. And in many cases, they don't have that disability documented where they can receive the services that they need to connect and get to work faster. By including the formerly incarcerated, we're able to make those connections more seamless.
And late last year, Governor Hochul signed an executive order which moves New York to an employment first state. So can you break down what that means for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this. Employment first means that every individual with a disability who's working in New York State should be in competitive, integrated employment. And that's what we do at NYSED. It's not workshop work. It's not work that's at a reduced wage. It is competitive, integrated employment where individuals are paid fair wages and individuals are working side by side with folks who are not disabled. This was an important change and an important executive order. NYSED was ready to make those changes. We became employment first in how we operate close to 5 years ago, and the legislature worked with us to make the changes in our legislation that would allow that.
And kind of on a more general level, what more can the state do to strengthen employment opportunities for disabled New Yorkers?
They can work really closely with us. Today I met with OPWDD on ways that we can work with that agency to help find placement for individuals with disabilities with some of the social enterprises that NYSED works with around the state. We can also work more effectively with OGS. OGS is one of the agencies that oversees the contract process, and we believe that some of the policies and procedures there that can be streamlined to make this process much easier, much faster, where we can get people to work sooner.
And we've been speaking with Maureen O'Brien of New York State Industries for the Disabled. Maureen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage. And click the subscribe button here. You can also download our app and watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.